Let's get started with our first headline. Jon Jones has finally responded to Dana White, and it's got fans talking. During the UFC 317 post-fight press conference, Dana White was asked whether Ilia Topuria deserves to be considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And instead of giving a simple answer, Dana went full Dana mode, sarcastic, candid, and brutally honest. He said, "You guys determine who the #1 pound-for-pound is. No you, no you. If I did, Jon Jones would be the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. If I did, it would be Ilia. Well, there you go. You do it, so good luck." Now that comment made its rounds quickly, and of course, Jon Jones saw it. He didn't say much, he didn't need to. He reposted that exact clip to his Instagram story and added a short caption, "That's awesome." That one-word reaction says a lot. Jon doesn't need to bark for validation. He knows his legacy, and the fact that Dana still considers him the best in the world, even after all these years and despite his inactivity, clearly meant something to him. But that wasn't the only moment Jon's name came up during the presser. Things got a little tense when a reporter brought up Jon's recent tweets, specifically his claim that he told the UFC about his retirement months ago, and that Dana and the team still tried to build a fight between him and Tom Aspinall despite knowing he was done. Dana not having it. I guess Jon maybe missed that part down here. Since you brought up Jon, I didn't bring Jon up, he did, okay? Fair enough, he gave you a layup, Dana said, clearly a bit annoyed. The reporter followed up, asking what Dana made of Jones saying things that directly contradict the UFC's narrative. Dana shot back, "It's not true, okay? Is that what you wanted to ask me? Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. But what do you make of him coming out and saying it? Saying it contrary to what you've said?" I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. Believe who you want to believe. It was classic Dana White, blunt, dismissive, and ready to move on. But even though Jon's response was short, you can bet it wasn't forgotten. He saw the praise, he saw the contradiction, and he made sure to let the world know he's watching. Moving on to another wild story, Shawn Strickland got into a physical altercation during the filming of Tough Enough. Shawn was cornering his teammate, Miles Hunsinger, who ended up getting submitted by Hernandez. After the win, Hernandez taunted Shawn, and that's when things exploded. Shawn and Chris Curtis entered the cage, and Shawn started throwing punches. It all kicked off when Hernandez stuck his tongue out at Shawn. You could see Shawn smirk for a second, then chaos. The footage was wild. People were shouting, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, no, no, no." Applause mixed with complete confusion. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Later, Shawn explained his side on X. Someone asked what Hernandez said, and Shawn replied, "If you're wondering what he said, suck my, you're up, I'll fuck you up." Another user asked for the backstory. Shawn replied, "No idea, man. I wasn't even vocal in the corner. The guy just wanted to antagonize me for a highlight." Someone warned him about potential penalties from the NSAC. Shawn said, "Yeah, what frustrates me is even during the fight he was insulting me. The Athletic Commission's job is to stop this. No warning, no penalty. Even the announcers were calling it out." Shawn went deeper. "After fights, I always shake hands, win or lose. I wish the other guy well, but this guy comes up to me, calls me out by name, makes gestures, and says things I can't even post on Instagram without a violation. As a man, I can't ignore that. If someone said that to me on the street, I'd still react. I just can't let it slide." He didn't stop there. Shawn added, "I keep the American flag and Constitution in my office. I look up to Washington, Jackson, Teddy Roosevelt. If they saw me ignore that kind of disrespect, they'd feel shame for me. Those men would duel someone for far less." Shawn admitted some regret. "If I could go back, sure, maybe I wouldn't have cornered the fight. Maybe I'd stay out of it. But I don't have it in me to stand there and take that. It's just not who I am." And because he never slows down, Shawn also posted a video of himself wrestling NFL offensive lineman Dylan Fairchild, a two-time high school state wrestling champ. Shawn wrote, "A 300-pound man shouldn't hit an ankle pick like that. When you're done with the NFL, UFC." Strickland's chaos just never ends. Now let's talk about a huge rumor that started swirling over the weekend. One that might have been accidentally leaked by none other than Dricus du Plessis himself. While speaking during a promo event, Dricus casually dropped a bombshell about the upcoming UFC 319 card in Chicago. He was hyping up the event and said, "Yeah, you want to go? Let's do it. We're gonna go Miami and LA. It's gonna be a big Chicago card. The co-main event is Paddy and Justin. That's an awesome fight. That's gonna be a sick one." And just like that, the MMA world exploded. Fans and insiders alike immediately started asking, wait, What? Did Dricus just confirm a fight between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje? Is that really the co-main for UFC 319? Because if it is, that's one of the most unexpected matchups we've heard in a while. Now, as of this moment, the UFC hasn't officially confirmed anything. No posters, no social posts, no Dana White promo. But this is how these things often go. Fighters talk, the wrong name gets dropped, or the right info leaks early, and suddenly the fans are running with it. And really, who could blame them? Just hearing the words Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje in the same sentence is enough to send fight Twitter into a frenzy. It's a stylistic clash that's wild on paper. On one side, you've got Paddy, the charismatic, loud, unpredictable scouser who's built a massive following with his energy, wild interviews, and flashy finishes. On the other, Justin Gaethje, one of the most violent, gritty, and dangerous lightweights in UFC history, a man who lives for chaos inside the cage. The build-up alone would be absolute madness. Paddy talking trash in every interview, fans packing the press conferences, Justin probably sitting there smiling quietly, ready to let his fists do the talking. You can already picture it. Now there are still a lot of questions. What weight class would it be in? Is this fight even close to official? Was Dricus just joking, or did he say something he wasn't supposed to? Either way, the buzz is real. If this fight does get announced, it instantly becomes one of the most talked about co-main events of the year. It would bring eyes from all angles. Casual fans, hardcore fight followers, even the mainstream sports crowd. For now, all we can do is wait. But if Dricus really let something slip, UFC 319 just got a whole lot bigger. Moving on to another story that really caught fans' attention. Joe Rogan says he's willing to break his own rule for Ilia Topuria. If you've followed Rogan over the years, you know he made it pretty clear. He doesn't travel overseas for UFC events anymore. He's talked about it on his podcast, mentioned it during broadcasts. He just doesn't want to do it. Long flights, time zone shifts, jet lag, it's not something he's interested in anymore. And let's face it, Joe Rogan doesn't need the UFC money. He's doing just fine between the podcast empire, stand-up comedy, and everything else. But after Ilia Topuria's dominant KO win over Charles Oliveira, that stance might be shifting. During the UFC 317 broadcast, the idea of doing a UFC event in Spain came up, Topuria's home turf. Without missing a beat, Rogan jumped in and said, I might have to go to Spain. I've always wanted to go to Spain anyways. Let's go to Spain. I mean, Islam and him in Spain? Come on. You could hear it in his voice. Rogan was hyped. He wasn't saying it for show. He sounded genuinely excited at the thought of calling a card in Spain, especially if the main event was Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title. That's a fight with global appeal, and Spain would absolutely explode for it. And this isn't just wishful thinking. Dana White has already hinted that a Spain card is very possible now that Topuria has turned into a legitimate UFC megastar. He's got the look, the skill, the charisma, and now the resume to headline a pay-per-view anywhere in the world, especially in Europe. But here's the catch. The UFC's 2025 schedule is already packed, especially with international logistics. New York City usually gets a card in November, and Las Vegas is always the big December closer. That leaves limited room for major international debuts like Spain. Still, if any fighter can change the UFC's plans, it's Ilia Taporia. He's the kind of guy who puts butts in seats and sells pay-per-views. Fans love him, broadcasters love him, and clearly, Rogan loves him. That alone says a lot. So if you hear that the UFC is heading to Spain for the first time ever, don't be surprised if Joe Rogan is on the mic, breaking his own rule just to witness Topuria make history on home soil. Next up, let's talk about Max Holloway, who had a few pointed things to say ahead of UFC 318. And make no mistake, he's not showing up just to honor Dustin Poirier's farewell. He's coming to spoil the retirement party. Holloway and Poirier will headline UFC 318 on July 19th in New Orleans, which has been promoted as Dustin's final walk to the octagon. Fighting in his home state, surrounded by friends, family, and fans, it's supposed to be the perfect send-off for a legend of the sport, but Holloway? He's not reading from that same script. While Max made it clear there's no bad blood between the two, only mutual respect, he isn't interested in sentimental storylines. In fact, he's bringing some serious energy and unfinished business into this fight. These two have history. Back in 2012, a young Poirier handed Holloway his first professional loss with a submission. Fast forward to 2019, they met again, this time for the interim lightweight title. Poirier came out on top once more, winning a hard-fought unanimous decision. At that point, Holloway was reigning over the featherweight division, riding a 13-fight win streak and considered nearly unbeatable at 145. Now in 2025, Holloway is looking to flip the script. In a recent UFC promo, Max laid it out clearly. Dustin took my undefeated record. He took my 13-fight win streak. I'm going to take his retirement fight. He doubled down on his YouTube channel saying, I know this is Dustin's retirement fight and he's trying to ride into the sunset, but he can go and do that. It might be a little bit sad because I'm going to go out there and get my hand raised. Hell of a guy, great guy, awesome that it's his retirement fight, but I'm here to spoil his plans. I'm here to get my hand raised because I'm still gonna be here when he's riding off into the sunset. I want to go get an undisputed title, so I've got to make a statement. This is classic Max Holloway, humble, respectful, but laser focused on one thing. Winning. He's not chasing legacy moments, he's chasing gold, and if he has to derail a fairy tale ending to get there, so be it. The stakes couldn't be higher. Two legends, one last dance. And Holloway, he's coming to crash the party. And finally, let's talk about Kamaru Usman, who recently gave one of the strongest endorsements yet for Ilia Topuria, a fighter many are calling the future of the sport. In a recent appearance, Usman openly admitted that he now sees Topuria as the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. And for a former champion like Usman to say that, it carries serious weight. Usman didn't sugarcoat it. He said, I can't pretend. I give Ilia the pound for pound. Wow, I never thought I'd hear that come out of my mouth, but I've been pondering that ever since I saw that fight. He was referring, of course, to Topuria's devastating performance against Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, where Ilia didn't just win, he dominated in every possible way. Usman continued, we had a similar situation when Alex Pereira was doing what he was doing, but there's a difference here. Alex wasn't necessarily doing that against the same caliber of opponents that Ilia is handling, and not just the caliber, the way Ilia is putting everything together in these fights. Charles went to his wheelhouse, he took it to the ground, and Ilia passed his guard, got to crucifix, he dominated. He dismantled a submission artist like Charles Oliveira in the grappling department. That says it all. That level of praise from a seasoned former champ like Usman is rare. He wasn't done yet. He added, bro, who has shown all the skill sets, all the facets of MMA, as well as he has, and still puts them away with his hands, mano a mano, he finishes them clean, no doubt. That's what makes a pound for pound great. Usman's words hit hard because they're not coming from a fan or casual observer. They're coming from a guy who's been at the top, who knows what greatness looks like inside that octagon. And for him to declare Ilia the best in the world right now, that's massive validation. It also highlights just how fast the landscape in MMA is shifting. While some legends are making their exits, like Jon Jones, Dustin Poirier, and potentially others, new stars like Topuria are rising fast with the skills, the charisma, and the performances to back up the hype. So yeah, the sport is evolving quickly. New rivalries are brewing, new kings are emerging, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss something special. Buckle up, this new era of MMA is just getting started and it's already looking absolutely electric.